Okay, so today on Black Country History Hunter, I'm going to be looking into the rifle range on Barrow Bank, which ran from 1850s, 60s through to the 1920s. So here we can see an 1880s map, and it shows one singular target, which would be because the Martini Henry, which the army were using then, was not a very accurate weapon, so there was no point having individual targets. The target itself, the bank, is made up of clay and sandstone so that they could reclaim the lead from the bullets, which were quite big. Here we can see a modern map from the air. You can see Russell's Hall Hospital, and above it you can see the remains of the rifle range butts. The majority of the range was wiped out by Russell's Hall estate, but we did manage to keep half of the butts, what we're investigating today. We're going to be metal detecting and having a good look around. And just before we get started on the metal detecting, we see here the flagstaff clearly marked and the later butts. Now the flagstaff, I believe, became the old cross, which is they took the top off and put it across in the 1920s. That's what I believe. We're going to be detecting on the field just above here today, and then we're going to be looking around the butts ourselves to see what we can't find. Okay, enjoy the video and I'll see you at the roundup. Right, we've reached the field. I'll just give you a little bit of chronology of the area. The original butts that were put in for the volunteers would have been using early muskets, maybe Martini Henrys definitely, and because the accuracy was so bad, the range is 10, 15, 20 metres away, and you're still getting stray bullets in this field. So it shows, and that's why there was only one singular butt. They weren't doing groupings. It was purely a matter of hit the target, get the splash. Right, we're here. This is a field. You can see it's slightly sloping and the range is just behind. I've just been attacked by a mega friendly dog, but yeah, they're mega friendly. There he is. Beautiful dogs. But yeah, I'm gonna crack on now, set the camera up and see if I can find some interesting bits and bobs for you. Okay, that's interesting. If you remember on my last video, we had the cork and wedge shoe, half of one. This is a full one, handmade obviously. You can still see the cork on this one, shape of a cork, and the wedge. You can see how much the wedge is thinner. So this is Victorian. How it got in this field, I don't know. Before they put a horse to grass, they would generally take the shoes off. But it could have been dropping off materials for the range, for the rifle range, gunpowders and munitions. You could have been pulling through towards the farms, either one. You had Russell's Hall farm and you also had Huntsmill farm. But either way, the owner of the horse was pretty crazy when he found out he'd lost a shoe, because the farrier weren't cheap then, as it's not now, or the blacksmith as it might have been known then. But yeah, you can just see the toe there, where the toe has been knocked out. I was a farrier in the army, so I kind of understand horseshoes. I've made enough. But yeah, I'll knock it off, clean it up and give you a sit rep on it later. On. Right, got a good signal here guys. We're on the field up where the rifle range is. So this is where I found all the rifle range bullets. Let's see if we can find another one. Probably be a coke, I know Marla. Ah, there we go. Right, so we're on the money. It might not look like a Martini Henry, but actually it's hit the ground, and you can just about see the back of it there, and it's splattered into a rock or maybe even the dirt itself. So that's a Martini Henry 1880s bullet, fired from a soldier who lived in the area. He was a volunteer, maybe fighting for the Boer War, training for the Boer War. So yeah, interesting. Another bullet. Yeah. Okay, on that one, you can see the shape more. It's hit the stone, but it hit it side on. So, see that there? Basically, it's flat. You can see where it came out the gun, the top and the line around it there. That is 1880s Martini Henry, named after the gentleman that came up with the bullet. It's basically a progression from separate gunpowder, separate projectile. So the minis, which is a Frenchman Minet, were a progression from the musket ball, which made it go further and more accurate. He elongated the musket ball and made it into the common bullet we know today. And then Martini Henry took it one step further, I believe. I could be wrong. Right, just done a dig. Another Martini Henry. Must have hit the stone or a stone in there somewhere. Be nice to see it actually against the stone. But you can see the back there. There would have been a little wooden cap in there, and this skirt would have expanded to fit the barrel. You can just see, if I can get it to focus. No, you can see the rifling there. See the lines? That's the rifling. That would have been the barrel rifling. At this point, they weren't spinning. They were just exploding down the barrel. But yeah, there you go, guys. Bullet number 3. Right, that's a good signal. Coming a bit closer now. Just, you know, coming to the site itself now. Concentrate on the trouble if you can. Oh, well, I found on this.
Seems to be something there.
Oh, so it's going to set me up. Got it. Right, it's in here. That's what we got. Right, that's a piece of lead. It's a piece of a bullet, but it's not a whole one. That's just a piece of a Martini Henry. You can see the line there when it would have been its, or it could be a smaller type of bullet. It's lead. It's lead. Never mind. Okay, thanks. Right, got a good signal again. So let's have a dig and see what we got. Okay. Ah, there it is, look. What it is, I couldn't tell you at the minute. Any ideas? We're banding off an old Cooper bucket. Iron, just like a long piece of iron, could be absolutely anything. That might be a rivet. There, just circular slightly, maybe 2 rivets. No, it's not a rivet. One thing I will tell you, while I've got it there like that. An old farrier once from Pensonnet, whose father was a farrier in World War One. He said he'd have 100 horses a day come through the forge, and they'd patch them up. Told me that to tell old iron, you look for the lines, and if a piece of iron has got lines or rusts in lines, and you can just see the lines patination in that, that tells you that it's old iron. It's an old forged piece of steel. Why that is, I don't know. It must be something to do with the new materials. But yeah, there's a nice bit of information from a good old farrier. And the fact his dad was in World War One, you know, patching up horses and putting them back out again, absolutely amazing. Well, onwards and upwards. This just come out. As you can see, if you stand it up, Bert, it's a pot leg. Could be medieval, but the fact that it's iron, maybe late 1600s, 1700s. Yeah, beautiful pot leg. So it would have gone on a cauldron. I'll put a picture up now, so you can see what it looked like. So you can see there it would have had 3 legs, sometimes 4, and they would have hung it over the fire to cook food and things. But yeah, lovely lion's foot pot leg. Well done, Bert. Okay, so this is the original 1880s rifle range. You can see the line and the bank runs round, and I'll put an image up now, and you can see that right hand bank there. And then also to the left you've got new butts, which is, I'll show you those in a second, but for now we're just going to look at this old singular butt, which was put in as a singular one because the accuracy was so bad you were looking for splashes rather than looking for single targets, individuals. So yeah, it was one target, fire at it with your Martini Henry or your Mini A's, whatever they were firing in the 1880s, and see who can hit it. Right, knew I was right on this one. First target on the side of this bank, which I think is the first butts. First hole, and there we go. That is a Mini A bullet. It's been hit and crushed. You can see there's quite a sharp notch in it where it's hit some stones, but this bank is made up of clay full of sandstone that they've literally crushed up, so the bullets ain't going to get too deep in. Maybe they were retrieving them for lead. If it was just solid clay, the bullets would go too deep and they'd have to destroy it to get them. So they literally put sandstone and clay together in the pit on the bank, and then literally they would pull the lead out and remake them into more bullets. Because they were firing at this at such a rate, the bullets would be absolutely everywhere, be littered. But this one slipped between the rocks and it's evaded their attention. And you can just see, if I can get it up for you, the 3 lines, which tells me it's not a Martini Henry, it's actually a Mini A, which is an earlier kind of bullet, which is interesting. It's kind of split open there, you see it's curled up there. Brilliant. See if I can find some more for you guys. Okay, so we've just come away from the old range, which is just there, and the new part, they extended it, made it a bit wider, and you can see you've got 1 line of butts and 2 line of butts. So I'll show you now on the video, and I'll underline it if you look here. Also the range itself ran in that direction. So now obviously it's been totally wiped out with the Russell's Hall estate, but it's lucky that this survived. Now this would have been fired at by 303s, so I'm hoping now Bert's having a go and I'm going to have a go. See if we can find some 303s on here. But yeah, nearly finished. Sun's dying, losing the light and all that. See you in a bit. Right guys, first, the ground here is absolutely saturated with 303 rounds. Bert's just found one that looks unlike any I've ever seen, but this is a snub-nosed 303. This is World War I ammunition. You can see it's in great condition. It's hit the ground and it's still got the white kind of cork or chalk in the back. My phone's going to focus there for you. But yeah, that's it. You won't want that one to hit you. I'd heard that sometimes these would spin in the air, and if it hit you if it hit you flat on, you're in trouble. I know machine gun bullets do that now in the army. I was a GPMG gunner, and the rounds are designed to tumble. They can hit you in the arm and come out in your hip. You know, this could easily be a bullet fired by a soldier from World War I. that died. Well, hopefully not, but there you go. It's been sitting in the ground all that time, and again, just like the older range butts, they've got the clay, but they were less bothered about collecting this part of the projectile. It was the brass casing that was interesting. And when I was a soldier, the sergeant used to say, whatever brass casings we find after we've picked up, with 10 press-ups for every one he finds. So it was incentive. I'm sure them guys over there picking the lead up would have some incentive, you know, get the lead. If the sergeant finds any, you're in trouble. Right, this is the finds from the few days metal detecting and filming that I did on Barrow Bank at the rifle range. First thing I want to draw notice to is the Horseshoe, which is a cork and wedge variety. What's strange about this one is, now I've cleaned it up, you can actually see that the toe is raised as well, so it kept the horse's foot flat on the flat surfaces and also give it the grip on the cobbles when necessary. You can see it's hand wrought, it's a beautiful shoe. If I bring it in close, you can actually see the square pritchel hole where the farrier has put the hole, so the sunk the hole so that the nail can sit flush. I've done this practice many times myself when making horseshoes in the forge. Again, lots of miscellaneous ironwork, no idea. A bolt from the aerial ropeway, bolt head from the aerial ropeway. Again, a lot of ironwork from the aerial ropeway. Obviously it ran across the top of the field. Some miscellaneous, we've got a couple of old pennies, don't know the dates on them. Interesting pot leg, I think it's a pot leg what you see in the video. I think this is an inkwell, what Bert found, or a brass handle from a door. Not 100% sure on that. Again, interesting. Pewter button, couple of seals from seed bag seals. I think that's a Webb's. Yeah, you can see that there. It's a Webb's, which was a Wordley company, Webb's and Son Manure Works, but they also made seeds for corn and things. Miscellaneous object here, I don't know what that is, if anybody can tell me. It seems to be an alloy, maybe some sort of stock tap. Some pottery, we've got some treacle glazeware. Looks like that cake, what's that cake called? I don't know, with the lines in. We've got the blue and white 19th century, that's 17th century though, I know that's 1750s onwards. We also have looks like a breech lock for a gun, and I thought at first that was a bolt. I got a bit excited, but now I'm thinking it's a horse harness for the reins to fit through on a Shire horse. 2 musket balls, could be any era because they were using them for hunting right the way through. And now we come on to the Martini Henrys. You must remember that I've been pulling these up for absolutely ages, so I've had hundreds off the site. At 303, it's good to find them on the actual range butts itself. So there it is. Hope you enjoyed, guys. Please subscribe and like and comment if you wish, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.